Today's episode deals with a lot of things. It ends up continuing the grand journey of Daddy's travels from London to Geneva and Paris and Switzerland and Germany. All just a teaser to where all Daddy has traveled. Hey guys, welcome to Backyard Miracles. This is your host Farha. And now let's get back to the scheduled programming of the day. Fasten your seatbelts, adjust your imaginary sunglasses, and prepare for a whirlwind tour through today's episode. Let's start at a point where we left off Geneva and Europe in general. Daddy, what about the time you were at the opening of Disneyland Paris? I was there when it opened to the public for the first time in the 1990s. And the thing was, since Sheikh Marum really liked staying in places that were a little luxurious, we would always stay there. And the best part, I could visit the park at any time I wanted. Wait, so you actually went to all the rides, Dadu? Yes, I went to every single ride. And the thing is, Daddy has a few health issues, and not everyone with the same health issues as Daddy can go on every single ride. He had a heart issue. And the thing was, he was going on every single ride, every single roller coaster, even the one where it is rumored that it used real skeletons. Because he did ride the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. And when I asked him, he said the Haunted Mansion also existed at the time, but it was much later. When one of his later visits, he ended up going there and visiting that ride. He went on every single roller coaster, and to him, experiencing each and every roller coaster, each and every ride, it kind of brought out the inner child in Daddy. And he did say that he had a lot of fun, so that's what matters. And the best part, and since Paris is a city of love. Daddy, have you been to the Eiffel Tower? ഞാൻ ഐഫിൽ ടവർ പോയിട്ടുണ്ടോന്നാ ഞാൻ കുറേ പ്രാവശ്യം പോയിട്ടുണ്ട്. Have I gone to the Eiffel Tower? I have gone to the Eiffel Tower multiple times. Wait, multiple times? Yeah, that was the same question even I had in mind. Turns out he did go multiple times. The first time he went there, he did go by himself because he wanted to see what was so big about the Eiffel Tower and what everyone was saying. Like, is it as magnificent as people keep describing it as? And he did say that it was pretty good, it was nice to experience, but he did say that he really liked it. What about all the other times he went there? Well, he went there because he was taking people to see the Eiffel Tower. That was why he kept going there so many times. He said that he went there multiple times and the charging fees were pretty high. He did say it was a high amount of euros, but it was good for him to experience it. What about the next place? Thing was, Paris, there's a lot of things to see in Paris that are pretty historic as well. Like for me, as a history buff, I would say a place that I would really love to visit is the Notre Dame Cathedral. Apparently, Daddy's been there. And that is not just the only monument. He's been to multiple monuments over there that is before the time of Christ. He's been there to so many of those monuments, the cathedrals, and anything that is there that is historic, Daddy's got to see it. Honestly, I didn't really get time to ask him if he's been to the Lascaux caves because they did close. But knowing Daddy, he might have been there. And hearing about Paris itself, it really shocked me. And that's when he ended up dropping the bombshell. He's been to multiple places in Europe, and it's not just Paris. The next place was Geneva. I mean, he's been to Geneva multiple times throughout my entire life. I've heard mostly about London and Geneva more than Paris and the other places that he's been to. And he did mention that there's this bridge over there. In Malayalam, he said it as Thookapalam, which means cable bridge. And from what he said, the closest bridge that came was the San Antoine Bridge. And apparently that bridge slightly moves and shakes a bit when cars are going. And you could park 2,000 cars underneath it. That is how big the bridge is. Which honestly sounds pretty amazing now that I think about it. I've never been to experience it, but seeing the pictures, it looks really good. And it was him and a friend of his who were walking on that bridge, and he was a little scared because it did slightly shake whenever the cars were going, so he was a little scared about that. And there was another person behind him who tapped and asked, like, are you Malayali? And Daddy said obviously said yes. So he's like, "Nyanum Malayali. I am also a Malayali." And the thing is, you might have heard this universal saying, "Evada poyal Chandranil poyal bolum Malayali laganu," which means even if you go to the moon, you will find a Malayali there, which is kind of true at this point. Like now that I think about it, because Malayalis are they're everywhere all over the world. And this person he met, he was from Kannur and he was there to visit Europe and to see all the places. So gradually they joined and they were all walking through the bridge together because all of them were equally scared about the shaking of the bridge. But he did say it was something really nice to experience. And I asked Daddy, like Daddy mentioned that there's this ship, that ships pass under the bridge. So when I asked him about it, he was like, there were multiple ships passing each day, and there was this particular ship that would go all over Europe, and him and Sheikh Mariam, whenever they were going and visiting all these places, they would go by that ship. He forgot the name of it at that time, but he did say that it would travel all over Europe, and it had stops all over there. And where they would get down was Warsaw. They would spend time at the hotel and they'd explore the area a little bit and then come back. That was what they were doing. Wait, in the intro, if you remember, I did mention Switzerland. Now, if you remember, in the previous episode, I mentioned that picture about Daddy looking like a penguin with the coat and the gloves and the sunglasses. Well, that picture was taken in where he went once and it was very cold and it was snowing in the area and it looked serene and lovely. So, and now, like, after all this, I just realized Geneva is in Switzerland. I kind of sometimes forget about geography and where places are, so I guess it just slipped my mind. But that Geneva was in Switzerland this whole time. But he did say he visited a lot, but the most visited place that he did was Geneva. And sometimes in my brain it just registers as a different country because of how many times he's talked about visiting Geneva. അല്ല ഡാഡി അപ്പോൾ ഇപ്പോൾ ഡാഡി ജർമ്മനി പറഞ്ഞ് പാരീസ് പറഞ്ഞ് സ്വിറ്റ്സർലൻഡ് ജനറലായിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞ് ലണ്ടൻ പറഞ്ഞ് വേറെ എവിടെയെങ്കിലും യൂറോപ്പിൽ പോയിട്ടുണ്ടോ? ഡാഡി, you mentioned Geneva and then Paris and London and Switzerland. Have you been to any other place in Europe? ഈ ഒരു സ്ഥലങ്ങളൊക്കെ കണ്ടു കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് നേരെ അപ്പുറത്തുള്ള വേറൊരു സ്ഥലത്തേക്ക് പോയി. അല്ല ഡാഡി, ഏതായിരുന്നു ഈ സ്ഥലം? ജർമ്മനിയാ? ജർമ്മനി. After exploring all these places, we went to another place that was right next door. What is that place, Daddy? Germany. Wait, Germany? Yeah, we went to Germany. And so his next adventure started in Germany. And the thing was, Daddy ended up seeing a lot of things in Germany. He visited a lot of the monuments there that was been there at the time of Hitler. And one thing he really mentioned to me, that there was this motorless ship that was there in Germany that was actually used by Hitler during World War II and right before that as well. And Daddy got to ride in that ship and go inside that ship. I was kind of surprised as I didn't really know that monuments like that existed. Because I didn't really know that motorless ships like that existed like from that long ago. It still exists even now. But it exists and they've been preserving it the way how it was at the time of Hitler. And they wanted to keep it that way as a museum piece. And the thing was, Daddy got to actually ride in it and experience it. And he said that it was something that was a really special experience. അല്ല, അതീ വിചാരിച്ച് ഞാൻ ഇത്രയൊക്കെ സ്ഥലത്ത് മാത്രം പോയിട്ടുള്ളൂ. ഇനിയും സ്ഥലങ്ങൾ ബാക്കിയുണ്ട്, അതറിയോ? You think I've only been to these places? I've been to much more places than this. This statement of Daddy's really made me shocked. I was like, hey, you've been to so many places all over Europe and you didn't even tell me. And the fact that now, after all these years, you're telling me that you've been to all these places in Europe, well, that's Daddy. And that was the thing, like, I was really shocked, like, you've been to all these places and you completely forget to tell it to me, your history of granddaughter. Yeah, it was kind of shocking when once he realized how much I love history and how much I want to listen to all this, he was like, okay, fine, you know what? Sit down. I'm going to tell you the rest of the places as well. Because this was just the trailer. The next one was something even much better. In Disneyland Paris and the Eiffel Tower, a motorless ship from the time of Hitler. These were just the beginning, apparently. He's been to much more places and he would love to tell me all that. I was like, oh God, now I have to definitely listen to all this. Because this is a gold mine of information that not a lot of people will be able to experience. So I was like, you know what? As he was narrating the whole story, he kept looking at me with a shocked reaction because my eyes kept going wider and wider at each detail he was saying. For me, it was not really easy for me to fathom that he's been to all these many places, and he's just able to say it all in such a cool manner. Like, you know what? I've been to this place. You know what? I've been to this place. It was very hard for me to like fully fathom and imagine, like, oh my god, daddy's been to all these places. And he kept laughing at each and every memory, remembering all the things that he experienced over there. And the same eyes also lit up with joy and happiness and nostalgia actually at each and every place that he's been to. And he was also really happy at how each time he was telling me a new detail, I was documenting everything. And how all I wanted was more. Thank you so much for listening. This is Farha signing off. We'll be back next Saturday with the next episode of Backyard Miracles. Stay tuned for the next episode where I'll talk on more of Daddy's travel experiences and expand on every single place that he's been to in Europe. And if he'll be able to witness any more historic events. I mean, in this episode, he was able to say that he experienced the opening of Disneyland Paris. And how me being a history buff comes into this whole story. Because how I am not able to fathom that he's been to all these places at such a short time. Let's wait and see how things go.